Hi guys, so this is the second time I'm trying to film this video because the first time my battery died. So here we go again. So today's video is going to be on baby-led weaning versus kind of puree feeding. With Dylan we're doing more baby-led weaning, and with Willow we did more purees, and there's loads of different reasons for that. So let me get started. So I'll start with Willow and why we puree fed her. Basically, when I stopped breastfeeding her about 3.5 months because she was literally on the boob all day, every day, and after her weight her weight was dropping kind of quite rapidly. They were worried that she wasn't getting enough milk, so we started supplementing with a little bit of formula, but actually gradually she kind of just took more formula and we kind of stopped breastfeeding. I was a little bit gutted about it, to be honest, but you know, that's kind of what happened. And not long after she started the first stage formula milk, she ended up, probably about a month later, she was still really hungry, and so she ended up on the hungry baby milk. And I wasn't quite sure about it because it's got a lot of things in it that fill baby up, and lots of people have said about hungry baby milk swelling their stomachs and things. So, you know, I wasn't 100% sure on it, and so actually in the end our health visitor recommended that we started introducing foods maybe just a little bit earlier than actually what's naturally recommended. So that's what we did. So at 4.5 months, but because she was obviously weaning earlier than the 6th month that's naturally recommended, we kind of started off with purees, and I think that's kind of where we stayed there, and we just carried on with purees. So I've got a list of pros and cons for both, and I'm going to do those now, go through those now. So my first pro for puree feeding was that it was a little bit cleaner. Where baby-led weaning obviously gets everywhere, and you know, it happens, but you know, it's great for them to explore, but it's a little bit cleaner. If you're on the go, it's so much easier just to spoon feed them, kind of mop them up as you go, and you're absolutely fine. You've got a better idea, I think, sometimes of how much food they're actually getting, and because with baby-led weaning, again, they're feeding themselves, so bits get thrown on the floor that end up in the bin, and you know, they're probably sometimes not eating as much as what you think they are. Getting used to cutlery and spoons, you know, when they're puree fed, they will kind of get used to those a bit quicker. Those were my pros. My cons were fussy babies, like fussy toddler stage. There's certain foods that Willow will not have because she's only ever had them pureed, and then once we tried to give them to her in their normal state, she didn't like them, like cauliflower, broccoli, onion and pear. She just does not like the texture, she can't get on with it. It's broccoli and cauliflower especially, because they're you know, we have them daily almost, well, kind of every other day, with meals thrown into pasta dishes and you know, Sunday dinners and stews and everything, and kind of throw loads of veggies in. But she will not eat them unless they're pureed, and I hide them in her mashed potato, and that's the only way I can get her to eat them. I've tried everything I could think of, but no, she just won't touch them, and I'm gutted. But it's just one of those things. So I think because she only had it pureed, that I think that might have made her, when you, obviously it can be a weird texture if you've never experienced it, and so I keep giving it to her in hope that one day she'll try it, but she hasn't, and every time we've kind of like really encouraged her to, she's gone, I don't like it. Bless her. Another con of puree fed is babies not learning to chew properly. Obviously a lot of people worry with con of puree feeding, is not learning to chew properly. When they're having those pureed foods, they can just easily swallow it. And they're not really chewing, and even when they get the lumpier ones, they still kind of chew it. They're still quite, normally babies just swallow it. They don't really chew it very much. So that's a worry as well. and it can be expensive. I mean, you can obviously do your own purees at home, and they've got all sorts of cool machines now where you can do your own purees, and you can have the little like sachets and take them out with you. But actually, if you're doing store-bought kind of jars and meals, and I mean, we have a really good brand, Ella's organic ones are really, really good over here in the UK, but you know, it's still, it's still expensive, and it can be really repetitive as well. Some of the meals are very, very repetitive, and you find that I found that Willow was having quite a few jars, because obviously at the time me and Rob both worked full time, so she would have quite a few jars throughout the week, and actually she just kind of got bored of them because they kind of all tasted the same, and they do actually all taste the same. And then moving on to baby-led weaning, so this is what we decided to do with Dylan, mainly because I wanted him to experience different textures, and I wanted him to learn to chew properly as well. I think a lot of people worry about the baby-led weaning because babies will gag, but there's a healthy gag and like a dangerous gag. Dylan will sometimes gag if he puts food too far to the back of his throat, and he realises then he needs to push it forward, and then that's what encourages him to learn how to chew properly. Obviously, you know your child, and you can tell whether they're actually choking, or if they're just gagging on something. And Rob was a little bit hesitant about this at first, because he was a bit like, he's choking, we shouldn't give him that food. And I'm like, no, he's learning how to put it in his mouth, and he's learning how to chew. But Dylan, even from before he had teeth, was still chewing really well with his gums. I mean, he would still eat his meat, and obviously all of his food's quite tender, but he could still eat it in its full form. So my pros for baby-led weaning, my reasons why we ended up doing baby-led weaning, it was, basically so, because of what we'd had with Willow, with her being a bit fussy after puree feeding, we decided to go with full baby-led weaning. Plus, it was he kind of had the same as what Willow had, because Willow would serve Willow a Dylan, and then we'd just give Dylan some, and then kind of he had the same as what we were having, so it was good. It was just cooking one meal for everybody. Fantastic. I do not want to be cooking 5 meals every single night. So, my pros, they definitely experience different textures, and I've explained that about chewing and things, and Dylan has been able to have meat from a very, very young age, like chicken. He's had chicken, pork, lamb, turkey, and beef as well. Yeah, so he's had everything. Well, everything that we eat regularly. And like I said, he learned how to chew really well. There's really not much prep either, because like I said, he's eating exactly what we're having, just cut up a little bit more. His vegetables maybe steamed a little bit longer, but other than that, pretty much exactly the same as what we're having. Variety, he has as much variety in his diet as what we do, because he's literally just having exactly the same meals we have. I can't think of a meal that I haven't given him. You know, I can't think of a meal that we've eaten as a family that I haven't given Dylan. Like, even things like curries, he loves them. Just wolfs it down, bless him. And actually, the whole experience of baby-led weaning is kind of like it's a sensory experience as well. Obviously, it's really good for it's almost like a messy play, to be honest. It can be like that, and he just shoves it all in his mouth, bless him. The only cons I have is that it can be a bit messy. Like I've said, they are feeding themselves, so sometimes it is a case of 3 baths a day after 3 meals, but 9 times out of 10 it's a baby wipe bath. And it's not handy if you're on the go. That's the only thing that kind of, if we're eating somewhere, he probably won't have as much as if we're out in a restaurant, he probably wouldn't have as much as what he would have if we were at home, because we haven't got necessarily all of the time to sit there with him. And sometimes I do wish, like, I could just feed him something because we are in a hurry, we need to get to an appointment or something, you know, so sometimes that's the only thing that I kind of don't like about it. But then again, to be fair, there's nothing to stop you throwing in the occasional puree, and I know that there's a cafe that we go to that gives us a free organic puree with every adult meal, so I will pick one up for Dylan and he will eat that there. But he is mainly baby led weaned, but the occasional puree is just thrown in there as well, and so he's kind of which kind of encourages him to use a spoon as well, which is quite nice as well. So yeah, that's it. My new schedule is Monday, Friday, Wednesday. Monday, Friday, Wednesday, that was a weird way to say that. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Wednesdays are going to be uploaded for Weight Loss Wednesdays, and I record those on the Sunday and upload on the Wednesday, so you are a couple of days behind. And Monday and Friday are just kind of a random mix of what I want to do. So yeah, so I'm going to keep with this schedule. And now that I've got started after the new year, I've took a couple of weeks off and I'm quite happy to get back. So next video coming up for you is Dylan's 8-month update, because he was 8 months yesterday. He's getting so big. But so stay tuned, subscribe if you would like to see more content, give this video a like and leave a friendly comment below, because I do actually read them, and I do actually, they're not spam, I don't delete them. Thanks guys, see you later, bye!